So far in this course, we've built a really nice 3-page site in RapidWeaver using Foundry from Elixir Graphics. In this final lesson of the course, we are going to look at tweaking a few of the colors and fonts and stylings for our site, and also just tying up a few loose ends. Things like I want this icon to be linked to the Scriber page here, so when you click on it, we go to that application page, and just a couple of other little tiny details that I think could be tidied up and be a little bit nicer. So let's go over to RapidWeaver and start doing that now. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is go to the home page, and what I'm going to do is edit the Foundry base stack or the Foundry control center stack. So to do that, we'll open up the page inspector, and I'm going to close out the stacks library. So to do that, throughout this course you might have seen me do that a few times. I've just pressed the L key on my keyboard, or you can press the library button here. So the L key toggles that library open and closed. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is update all of these colors here. They're perfectly fine, but what I think is that they could be a little bit punchier, they could be a little bit brighter and just a touch nicer. So you'll see on the left hand side here I have all of the default colors that are set here in Foundry, and to the right hand side I've got all of the colors that I'm going to use instead. So I'm just going to update the primary color there. Select that. Now, just to show you that that works, what I'm going to do is go back to Safari and we'll refresh the page, and you should see the color of this button update. And yeah, you'll see it's a little bit of a lighter blue there, quite subtle, but that's all you need to do to update the color of all of the elements using the primary style. So I'm not sure if we've got anything else using the blue color on this page. No, I don't think so. Just the button here and these links in the footer. So hopefully you can see that that blue color is a little bit brighter, a little bit lighter. But let's go back to RapidWeaver and update all the other colors as well. So we can do that from the home page if we wanted to. Now, obviously when I've come back to RapidWeaver here, we're on the Scriber page, and that is because when you switch pages in Safari using RapidWeaver's live external preview, the page that you're currently on will automatically be selected for you in RapidWeaver when you return. So that's why if you were confused about why the home page wasn't still selected, that's why. Okay, so the reason that we're using that partial for the banner area, or the global menu partial, sorry, is because we want those Foundry settings to be updated on all pages. And what that means is that we can either edit the global menu partial from the home page, the Scriber page, or the About page. It doesn't matter where you edit that from, the settings are going to be applied to all of your pages on the site. So we can just go and edit the global menu here and select the Foundry stack and update the colors from the Scriber page. So I'm going to do the success color here, and then the info color, and we'll do the same for the warning and the danger, like so. Okay, so now if we go back to Safari, once again we'll see this update, and if we scroll down here you'll see that this button is a little bit lighter as well, a little bit more punchy, and these colors haven't been updated because what we did was use a color picker for these buttons. So we could, if we wanted to, go back to the Scriber page here and open up the container that has this content. I think it's this one here. Yeah, and what we could do is for these buttons, we could say rather than having the custom style that we had, we could then say we want the info color, and that would match up with this color here. Or for the product 2, we want the green color, so that's the success. We could select that there. And then for the third product, what we want is the warning color, like so. And those kind of all three of those kind of match up to the headers there. So rather than having a custom color, to keep everything uniform, try and use the predefined colors that come with Foundry. And then when you update the colors, all of these will stay in sync, so you won't have to go back and use the custom color picker every time you want to make a tweak to your color scheme. Okay, next up, what I want to do is just show you how you can adjust the font styling for your entire site. We're going to keep the fonts as they are for now, but what I want to do is show you just how easy it is to change fonts and to change the base sizing so everything is adjusted uniformly across all of your pages. So we go back to RapidWeaver again, and then we'll want to edit the Foundry stack. so the inside of the global menu. We'll go to the Foundry stack there, and what we can do here is, if you go to the font section, we chose Helvetica as the base font. What we could do is just choose this one here, and then when we go back to Safari, our site will automatically update, and you'll see that the body text has changed to use that font. Now the headers are still using Helvetica, and that is because you have a separate setting here. So you could mix and match serif and sans serif fonts if you wanted to, if that's the style for your site. So for example here, we could choose Times New Roman for the headers, and you'll see all of the headers on the page are now using that font, and the body text is using the Lucida font. Obviously I don't think this looks very nice, so I'm going to switch this back to using Helvetica for both of those. But as I say, that is a very easy way to change the font styling on your site, and it will be applied to all of the text across your entire site in this way. One final thing to note is, if you want a custom font such as the Google, you could use Google fonts for example. You just select the Google option here. You'll need to do a little bit more work, but I want to show you that that is available. You can go and investigate that in the Foundry documentation. You're not stuck to just having these fonts here. You can use any type of font that you want. So that option is available. If you need a more custom font for your site, as I say, go and check out the Foundry documentation for more information on that. Okay, next up, we can change the base font size. So let's put this up to 20 just to show you how this works. And we'll go back to Safari and preview that. And you'll now see when we scroll down, all of the text in here, it has become a lot bigger. So if you've got, say, a blog and you want the copy on the page to be in focus, you need to increase the base size of everything. It's a very quick and simple way to do that inside of Foundry. We are going to leave it as 16, as I said. In the first video we adjusted the base weight, so if you're using a custom font, maybe you need it as 200 or 100. That's how you can adjust that. We'll obviously leave it as 300 for now. I think all the other settings we'll leave as default. One thing we could do is, if you want custom colors for the headers, let's say we wanted them to be red, we can do that here, and you can adjust the header sizes for each heading tag here. So you can see you have options for the mobile, and then you have the sizing for the tablet and desktop as well. So let's just go and preview that and see that the header colors get updated as well. So there, yeah, now we can see all of the headers in our main container areas, or our main content areas, are using that red color that I've just selected. Again, that doesn't look very nice, so we're going to switch that back in just a second. And I want to point out here that the reason this one isn't using the red color is because we used a custom styling for these to make them white. So they're going to use that custom color that you selected specifically for this element, rather than the global setting that we have in the Foundry Control Center stack. Okay, so let's just go back and undo that. We'll leave it as that dark gray color. Okay, and I think that's all the settings that we're going to cover in this video. There are a few others, such as the site background. If you want an image in the site background, so the background of your entire site, so currently we have this white color, you can do that very easily here. I'll show you how to use that with actually not an image. Let's do a color picker just to be quick, and let's make it this yellow color. We go back and refresh that, and now when we scroll down, you see you have, rather than the white color, we've got this yellow background. So again, depends what the design of your site is. If you have a blog again that you want to be a dark colored with white text on, you can easily go in and choose the dark colored background there, and you can set your default font colors as well up the top here, as I showed you. So the base font color here, you could maybe make that white if you wanted a black background with white text. Okay, and I think that will do it. The only other thing is the modal that we set up in the previous video. You can adjust the content padding here and the background and border colors and the overlays, so you can really make that fit in with your site. We'll leave it all as the default, so just want to point out that that is available for you. Okay, so I think that covers all of the Control Center Foundry settings. What I want to do is, on the home page I mentioned that this image should link through to the Scriber page. So what we can do here is add a link. So with the image stack that Foundry provides you, as I say, you can add a link there. So all you need to do is check that box and then set the link to the correct page, like so. Now when we go back to our home page, here you'll see that this icon is now linked through to the Scriber page in the same way that this Learn More button is as well. Or actually, the Learn More button isn't actually linked through yet, so let's just do that just to tidy it up. Again, we'll set the link and choose the correct page, like so. Okay, then I think just about finally on the Scriber page, what we actually have on the live site, if we go there and navigate to the Scriber page here, now below here what we have is some brighter blue links that go to this gold yellowy color when hovered. So let's go and see how we could fix that, because currently I think what we did was just set the opacity. So yeah, what we actually want to do is set the links to be this blue primary color, like so, and then the hover color we want it to be the goldy yellow color there, like so. And then the text color, that's what we set to 50%, so we can leave that as it is for now. That'll do for us. So let's go and preview that locally. And there we go. I think that blue and the yellow is a little bit more punchy. Small little fix, but I just wanted to show you how you can adjust the colors of individual links on the site as well. Okay, other than that, I think we are looking pretty good. We have got all of our buttons in there. Those are using the base settings inside the Foundry stack. And yep, we could do the same down here for these links because I just copied that paragraph. We won't for now, or we can fix that very quickly actually. What we'll do is copy the paragraph from the top and just scroll down here and paste that in. And then we'll delete that one, and that should update these links to be the brighter blue color with the yellow when we hover, and yep, that works nicely. Okay, let's go to our final page, which will be the About page. And here I think the only thing we haven't done on the About page is, if you notice here, I've got a slightly yellow overlay to the image. So when we flip back and forth here, you'll see this one looks a little bit dull, it's just black and white. So whereas the live site I gave it a slight yellow overlay. So let's just do that quickly. So on the About page, all I did there was set the overlay color. I chose the yellow, and we can set the opacity, I think around 10% was good. So let's have a look at that. And yeah, there we go. Now we're looking exactly the same as the live site there. Okay, so the very last thing we're going to do in this course is set up our publishing and actually publish this version of the site up to rapidweaverfoundry.com. So click the publishing setup button. Choose your publishing method. For me it's SFTP. If you're unsure of any of these details, contact your hosting provider and they will be able to provide you with the method, the server, your username and password, and the path that you need to publish to. But for me, what I'm going to do, my server is the IP address, so I'm going to enter my server IP address now and my username, and I'm going to use public key authentication, and I'm just going to test that that works. And yep, that was successful. So all I need to do is enter the correct path. So what you can do is either enter this manually, or you can go and browse onto your FTP server. And all you need to do is select the correct folder that you want to publish to. And for me, it's rapidweaverfoundry.com and then the public folder. For you, this could be public_HTML, or it could be web HTML. It all depends on your hosting provider. So please contact them for the path, because it's very important that you enter the correct path into this field. So you can do this visually, and this will show you all the folders on your server, like so, and then if you choose a folder it will pre-fill that for you. So double check with your hosting company that this is correct, because if you have a typo here, or you miss off a // or you miss a letter or whatever, anything is wrong, your website is not going to show up on your domain name. Okay, so that's all I need to do for this server destination. What I'm going to do is call this the live server, and I'm going to go back to my home page and publish this site up to my domain. The final thing I need to do is set up my web address, and this is rapidweaverfoundry.com. Click the continue button, and then RapidWeaver will export our site and then publish that up to our live server. And once publishing is complete, we can go and visit our site in the browser. There we can see our local site has been published, and we can browse through our site on our domain name. So I hope you've enjoyed this course. If you've followed along with everything, you now have a beautiful 3-page website built with Foundry from Elixir Graphics in RapidWeaver. So without further ado, thanks again for watching, and happy weaving!